Welcome to the deep dive.
Good to be here.
So today we're digging into just one source, actually. A very specific snapshot in time.
A single article.
Yeah, it's titled Posts from Wix.com, and it's dated January 20th, 2025.
Right on the day itself.
Exactly. The day Donald Trump was inaugurated as the 47th president.
So real-time reaction, almost.
Pretty much. And our mission here is, well, to pull apart what this article observes. You know, the feeling in the air, who was there, the first things the administration did.
And try to understand what this one source suggests about where things were headed right from day one.
It's more than just facts, isn't it? The article offers this immediate take from someone who was, well, apparently there.
Exactly. And it's not just what it says, but the implications, especially for you, someone who follows this stuff closely.
Okay, let's get into it then.
Yeah.
The article kicks off with quite a mood. It describes D.C. that day as particularly cold, sad, and with a strange sensation in the air.
Yeah, not your typical festive inauguration vibe, is it?
Not at all.
And the author even sort of speculates that the cold might have kept some of Trump's most fanatical followers away.
Right, hinting maybe the public support wasn't quite as visible as expected.
But then there's this contrast, isn't there, between the outside and what was happening inside Congress?
Yes, exactly. So maybe smaller crowds outside, but the article points to this VIP event inside the Capitol.
And it doesn't just mention it, it frames it quite strongly.
So,
It says, this event demonstrated to the entire world who holds power in the new government. That's a pretty direct statement.
wow, okay. Suggesting the real power players weren't necessarily the usual suspects.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And the article names names. It lists who was, quote, literally behind the new president during the swearing in.
And this is where it gets really interesting, like you said.
It's basically a who's who of big tech.
Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk,
Mark Zuckerberg, Shouzi Chow from TikTok.
Sam Altman, Sundar Pichai, Tim Cook, all of them.
It's quite the lineup. Very different from, say, a cabinet list or traditional political advisors being highlighted.
The author definitely flags it. They specifically mention the TikTok representative, Shouzi Chow.
Yeah, and sort of hints there might be good news for TikTok or even the Chinese government because of this.
Which, makes you immediately think about tech policy, international relations. Where are the priorities?
Well, it suggests a potentially very direct line between these tech leaders and the new administration.
Their physical presence alone seems symbolic.
Absolutely. Being right there behind the president, it raises questions, doesn't it, about regulation, antitrust, data, trade, all those things.
Okay, so from the atmosphere and the key players, the article then shifts to immediate actions.
Right, the executive orders, and a lot of them.
Over 36 signed on Inauguration Day itself, it says.
Which is, well, a very busy first day.
And the location described adds this layer of irony, maybe.
Oh, the Eagle Auditorium.
Yeah, and some D.C. center. And the author notes it was booked for a monster truck show the next week.
Yeah, the author definitely uses that detail. It paints Trump as a showman, emphasizing the spectacle of it all.
Making a big splash right away.
Exactly. A clear signal of intent to act fast and decisively.
And the article highlights the focus of these orders, doesn't it? It wasn't just procedural stuff.
No, definitely not. Immigration seems to be front and center.
It mentions declaring borders an emergency, using the military there.
Big changes to asylum with Remain in Mexico, continuing or expanding.
And ending programs related to inclusion, diversity, and equality. That's quite a specific policy direction from hour one.
It really is. It suggests a sharp turn towards more restriction, more enforcement on immigration.
And potentially rolling back those diversity initiatives.
You have to wonder, based on past experience, what kind of legal fights or community impacts might follow from orders like those.
The article then steps back a bit, reflecting on the first 3 months.
And the description is pretty intense, overwhelming and exhausting.
It uses the Spanish words atropellante y arrogante.
Rushing and arrogant. Yeah, it suggests a kind of relentless, perhaps abrasive style.
And the examples given are, well, unconventional.
Definitely. Things like appropriating Greenland, threatening the Panama Canal,
Eliminating whole departments like education and USAR, the Foreign Aid Agency.
and using Guantanamo for immigrants, adding 30,000 beds, the article claims. These are massive, potentially destabilizing ideas.
Which leads the author to talk about this feeling of a slow-motion capture of the state.
That's a powerful phrase. It sounds quite ominous.
It suggests this gradual erosion of maybe how government is supposed to work.
And interestingly, the author notes a perceived lack of strong opposition.
Right, and connects it to a super PAC, allegedly created by Elon Musk, influencing Republican members of Congress.
Which, if true, points to a potential weakening of checks and balances, doesn't it?
Yeah, this idea that outside money, a specific entity, could be steering the legislative branch.
It really makes you question the independence of the process and, whose interests are actually being served.
And building on that, there's this major concern the article raises about the judiciary.
Ah, yes, the alleged total disdain for the judicial branch.
The author claims it's unprecedented since, well, 1776.
That's a huge claim, basically saying the executive branch is ignoring court decisions.
Or creating, as the article puts it, Kafkaesque explanations to get around them.
Wow. I mean, that really goes to the heart of the rule of law, doesn't it? The idea that the government itself has to follow the law, follow court rulings.
The executive simply ignores the judiciary. Well, that changes the whole system.
Fundamentally.
Towards the end, the author kind of zooms out and offers their own definition of democracy.
What do they say?
That it's about understanding no single power has all the answers, that you need to listen to everyone, make decisions together.
A focus on consensus and multiple perspectives.
Yeah. And then they talk about loyalty.
Loyalty to what?
To the country, its values, its future, not just, blindly following a leader or speech.
Okay, so that provides the lens through which the author is interpreting all these events they've described.
Exactly. They seem to be arguing that the actions they saw, this style, potentially undermines those core democratic ideas.
The need for different views, putting the country's values first, that's the author's takeaway message, it seems.
So, wrapping up, this one article, this one snapshot from January 20th, 2025, it gives us a really potent, if single, perspective.
It definitely paints a picture of the immediate aftermath and the initial feeling around the new administration.
And it leaves you with some pretty big questions, doesn't it? About power, policy direction, the branches of government.
Absolutely. And as you think about this account, you have to consider the potential ripple effects, the longer-term consequences of the trends described here.
Like the tension between executive and judicial, or the tech-government relationship.
Exactly. How might those things evolve? And of course, this is just one source. What other perspectives, what other information would give a fuller picture?
Right. This deep dive is really just a starting point, based on this one article.
A starting point for you to keep thinking critically about, well, the forces shaping things. What parts of this account stood out most to you? What other questions does it raise?